Hello, and welcome to another edition of IIABCal Voices. I'm your host, James Lott Jr., here on my network, JLJ Media, in association with the Big I of California. I was in the entertainment. I'm in the entertainment business now, but I was in the industry for 11 years doing insurance. I was in insurance, education, and planning. So I get to talk to people from the business that are doing great things and who have done great things also. And she's both of these. She is the managing director for private client services at Arthur J. Gallagher. And we had a great talk just pre-interview a couple weeks ago. And I'm like excited to talk to her and talk about what she has done and what she is doing in the business. Help me welcome Miss Dina Smith. Dina, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
I should say Dina Campana-Smith.
Dina Campana, yes, that is it. And if you translate that, that means Dina Bell.
That right does. I speak Spanish, so yeah, it does. That's great. I know. I love that. And we're talking to her from a location that's not in where she normally is. She is south of the border. So I love technology. I love technology. I do.
Yeah, the sunshine is trying to peek in here.
And I see it. Ours isn't here yet in LA. It's still overcast. I live near the water, so well, you know how that is in Northern California and stuff too. Yes. It's taking a while to.
Yes.
That's overcast right now, so we're good. Welcome. So first of all, I want to ask you, how are you doing? Because I mean, this whole last year we had this pandemic thing. We're coming out of it now. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. It definitely has been a year, as it has been for everybody. And I think that if just talking to some colleagues this week, the one thing I think we've all learned is that change is imminent, and you just have to be able to adapt and be nimble and take it in stride and accept it and keep going, because there'll be more around the corner.
Right. And as we also live lifelong, you find that out too. You find out you're not in control of everything.
Yeah, well, I try, but
Me too, girl. Me too. But you're right. But actually, I think that's one of the things we learned in the last year. Any profession you're in, anything that we've been doing, learning how to pivot and change and adapt. That's something I think that's a great lesson. I mean, pre-pandemic, post, or whatever. I think it's a great lesson, isn't it?
It is. It is. I think it prepares you to be better for our clients, and as you said, better for life. For our lives.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I want to start. How did you? Because this is always fun for me.
Yeah.
Because insurance back in the day, I should say. Maybe now it'll start changing. I hope it does change, where it's a choice that you want to grow up and be an insurance person. But back in the day, though, none of us, we all either fell into it or a family member was in it, or a spouse or something. So how did Miss Dina get into insurance?
Well, I did it the most common way, family.
There you go. Okay.
So I'm actually third generation insurance. So my grandfather was a life salesperson, and my father was property casualty. Started out with Fireman's Fund right out of college. He was back in the day what they called a special agent.
Ooh.
And I know.
That's fancy. I like that. That's like secret agent. Like, well, I like that. Special agent.
I know. I said, "Oh, Dad." That was back in the day when they were out on the street. They had underwriting authority. They could write checks and do all that kind of stuff. But he was a workers' comp specialist, and then ended up buying it. And so through that, I actually was in college and was trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up, and was working part-time at my dad's agency to make some little extra money, and obviously I never left.
Right, got in for extra money and stayed for the career. Yes, stayed for the career. I'll come help for a conference, an insurance conference, for a week, and I was in it for 11 years. So I mean, that's just kind of how. Yeah.
And and that's the way that I think insurance is. I think I always call it the best kept secret. And because those that do get involved with it do get what I call sucked into it. And the reason you get sucked into it is because, one, I mean, it's a great group of people, for one.
I agree.
But two, it's so dynamic. You're working with people, you're helping people. There's it can be technical, it can be creative, it can be, I mean, there's so many dynamics to it that, and it changes every day. You learn something every single day. I've been doing this for a few moons, and I still learn something every single day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and so you stay challenged, and I think it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, no, sure. There's always new regulations, new rules. There's always new stuff coming up, new language.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's very
Yep.
important. And a lot of industries don't have that. And I always say that insurance, everyone needs it.
Right.
Some form. It doesn't, it's recession proof. It's like
Yep.
everybody's insurance. I mean, like some insurance
Yep.
somewhere. I mean,
I know. I'll talk to folks, especially some younger people that are getting into the industry, and you know, I will ask them, "Are you bored?" And they're like, "I am never bored here." I said, "Because if anybody tells me that they're bored, I can fix that like
in
that."
2 seconds. She's like, let me show you why you shouldn't be bored. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love that. Has it changed for you since you entered the business?
Oh,
As a woman, has it changed for you?
yeah. I would say. I mean, I was fortunate to be. It was the agency was owned by my father, and he has a partner. And then the partner's son and I joined, and so we all worked, together. And so I was fortunate enough to just always feel like an equal. And so I just took that attitude and that expectation with me, and I feel that that has helped me to, you know, to work in a predominantly men's
Yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt that there's challenges, that, but um, there definitely, is opportunity. And as a woman, you need to, stand up and make yourself known.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But that's, I think, for anybody.
That's true. That's true. I just because I know a lot of wonderful women in the business. I mean, we're in business
There
for
is.
years. A lot of smart, talented, funny, hardworking women who are making it happen. I mean, they make it happen
Yep.
every day.
Yeah. And I would say on the brokerage side, you see that a lot. I say on the corporate side, the carrier side, I mean, there's more women in the leadership roles today, but that has been a hurdle to get more women in the leadership roles.
Yeah. I know. I also hope that people start really looking at this as a viable profession that's not just some boring, stuffy. I mean, plus also it's great for raising a family if you want to raise a family. The hours, the things you get. I mean, I just think it's a. I mean, like I said, I did it for so many years. I loved it. I mean, it's always a great.
Yeah. And I think, that when I say it's dynamic, I mean that there's so many different areas to go, to enter into the insurance industry offers. I mean, if you like doing service, working, with people, you've got the service, folks. If you like sales, you like to be out and about and, creating opportunities, you've got your sales folks. If you like the more technical, you've got your underwriters. You've got, if you're a numbers person, you've got your actuaries. And if you want leadership, I mean, it's all over the place. And you can even get into regulatory. And even on the IT side, there's a huge need for IT in our industry.
Oh yeah.
So it's just, I mean, you name the interest, I would say that 90% of them you can find in the insurance industry in some shape, way, or form.
And I'll just add to that. If you're into education, I was part of that for 11 years.
Yep.
I also did event management. There's room for that, and it was like there's a lot in insurance. I know you just said that. I was like, yeah, it is very vast. If you have a
Yeah.
interest, especially when you said IT, I don't, especially the last year. And so
Oh, yeah.
everyone's needed that now for their, yes, it's very
Yep, you betcha. And I mean, I was just on a call with a carrier, CEO of an international carrier yesterday. And, operational excellence is a drive for him. And that involves, the IT technology, digital experience, from the client to the carrier, talking about even the cloud, getting
yes.
set up.
Yeah, no, it's very, very much so. Even things like ransomware and all that kind of stuff. You need people who can.
Right, there you go. Oh yeah, that's a big deal.
You need people. It happened recently. Just happened recently. We know that. Just happened recently, but we need people.
Yep. And that's not going away.
No, not at all.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. I love that. I'm gonna now go into some of the things you did before, because you worked with a certain level of clientele. So
Correct.
because I know you did some lot of work in wine country.
Yep.
You went
Yep.
wineries. I love me some wine. I love some wine. No, but make sure you're insured. Make sure everything's insured. We love it.
Right.
So how did you get into that world? I mean, because I think you were living up there, right? Also,
Yeah.
yeah.
I lived in Napa Valley for 30 years. Still, my family and all my friends are still there. My husband and I decided to change it up a bit, and we moved to San Francisco um, for various reasons. And but obviously, living in the wine country, I just naturally just started to work with those businesses and
Yeah.
the clients. Um, and then from there, uh, I got to know, people that have more than average to protect. We call them, high net worth. That typically means they have a net worth of $5 million or more. Ultra high net worth would be like net worth of over 20 million, 30 million. There's different people have different definitions, but that's a pretty good
Right. Right.
rule of thumb. And it is it's funny, when I first started really getting involved with the high net worth, it's insurance. We're insuring homes, we're insuring autos,
Right.
it's all the same. But,
Yeah.
but the more I've dealt with this, clientele for the last, 12 years, more focused, I recognize that there is different demands. There's a complexity that comes with dealing with these folks, higher expectations. They're, they get into unusual situations. Had a client that was, buying a huge dinosaur bones, and we had to figure out, and he wanted to display it in the store for a while, and he wanted to bring it to his house and trying to figure out how that all's going to work. And, just not your normal. We had one client that was putting on a birthday party and brought in zoo animals, so, there's a liability exposure there.
Yes. But how fun too, at the same time, how fun.
So we get, it can be challenging, but also I think it also requires a different skill set.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And you also are dealing with different types of insurance companies that specialize in insuring these types of things, higher valued homes, a lot of fine art, jewelry, international exposures, all those kinds of things that may not be, the typical type of personal insurance need.
Yeah, I was gonna say for you, you said it requires a certain type of skill set. I was gonna say also requires um maybe a certain level of trying to find out, like a lot of research, make
Yep.
sure all the wording. I mean, like I'm thinking, God, I mean, you can't even
Oh
do
yeah.
spell check. You gotta make sure all the wording and everything is really correct
Right.
for a
Well,
thing.
and a lot of times you're not dealing directly with the client. You're dealing with their executive assistant or their house manager or their risk manager. And so you're you kind of got to your client becomes that person, but with the focus to advocate and do the best for the client.
Well, let me ask you wait a different second. I mean, I'm curious. Got me thinking, because you're not dealing with the actual person where many brokers agents they're dealing directly with person.
Right.
Is it more complicated? Is it harder to deal with the middle person, or has it become kind of easier? Because like, I'm sure the middle person has to know what you have to represent their client correctly, obviously. And I'm sure they're talking to their client.
Right.
How's it for you?
It can be easier and it can be tougher. The thing you have to recognize is that many times that risk manager, personal assistant, executive assistant, whoever, is relying on us to be their insurance expert.
Got it.
And at the end of the day, we need to make them look good. So there's that trust and respect that needs to go, you know, that needs to be developed and established. And at the same time, you've got to have their back. So it gets a little bit more stressful because you don't want to leave anything, you know, any gap in coverage or, you know, anything unknown, because if anything happens, that person's job could be on the line. And then you've also just eliminated your, what we call center of influence.
Yeah.
So it can be, to answer your question, it can be tougher, but then also once you have that trust and respect, it can make it a really easy flow process. And you're not having to sell all the time because they know that you've got their back and that you've got the client's best interest in mind.
So if you tell them something, they're going to be like, okay, so now tell me, why do I need this? Or why is it this way? Like a lot of chances they're going, okay, we trust her. She knows what's going on. Okay, just go ahead and write it up. Let's go. In many ways.
Right. That's exactly it. Right.
That makes sense.
But but it's an ongoing, trust is not something that you just develop and it's done and you have to maintain.
Right. Interesting.
And the clientele has usually a higher sense of urgency. I mean, everybody has a higher sense of urgency.
Well, yeah, right.
But this clientele, let's just put it this way. I mean, I will get a text on Saturday morning because they're on the way to buy the car that they just decided to buy and they needed the evidence of insurance. Or I get a call that they just rented a car and now they want to know if they have insurance. And that happens at any time from, it's 24/7.
No, well, Dina, I'll tell you this. I can relate. As I'm wearing my logo, my other job outside of media, my other company is my organizing business, professional organizer. And I always call my regular clients, my medium size, and I have my higher end clients. I always use that word higher end, but I have clients who are in the business, have a little more money, that kind of thing. And you're right, when I deal with them, it's very different. It could be that, James, can you work tomorrow? I have a project. I mean, it's big money, folks. It's not no joke. It's just like, but the urgency is like this. I mean, like you said, everybody feels urgent, no matter where their money bracket is. But there's a little dinner like it's always like, I have a dinner party I'm hosting in Bel Air tomorrow. Can you come over and just do the whole kitchen? I'm like, let's see. Well, I guess I'll be there. Yes, I guess I'll be there. Kind of thing. You're right. It's always these kind of like, I laugh, and they're so appreciative, and they take care of me. I mean, I'm sure they take care of you too. I mean, they're great. They're appreciative, and they trust you, that's the number one.
Right.
They know they can, because I usually don't do what they call rush calls in this business. Like, if I do one, we gotta work it out. But with them, they're like, James, trust me, you'll get pressed for it, and we'll do that. Okay, I'll be right there. We'll film everything you're doing. Okay, I'll be right there. There's always a little perks, but you're right. It's very different when it's a different money bracket, different. I always say different tax bracket. We'll say it's a very different thing. But I love it. I mean, I'm sure you love it.
Well,
too.
and yeah, right. And and I look at it. I mean, the client has a lot to lose if I don't do my job, if I'm not there for them. So try to set the expectations that I would prefer maybe to be contacted Monday through Friday. But
same here. I do not just say same here, but. Or we say, however, comma.
But I also know that pipes don't just burst Monday through Friday. So that pipe bursts on the weekend, I'm there. So
that's a great analogy. Actually, I had a pipe burst on a Saturday. Actually, ironic.
I did.
It was on a Saturday. I was like, I'm home. I was home, and I was fortunate. I was home when it happened, so I was able to call the plumber and take care of it. But it's funny you just said pipe burst. It might happen on Saturday. Home ownership, people, home ownership, and I had insurance for all that too. So. Good.
Well, and James, that's another part of what we do, and for our clients and what this client needs is not just insurance. I mean, insurance is a mechanism to provide protection of their assets, but there's other ways to protect their assets to avoid any disruption in their life. And like we're talking about the burst pipe. And there is now these devices that people can put on their main water line that will shut off the water if there is a sudden flow of water that is not usual, using artificial intelligence. And so educating clients that is available, and with wildfire going on right now, the insurance is getting more and more expensive. And I have a client that they decided to, not to go into details, but to not purchase a policy with water damage coverage because it's a second home. They're going to just put on a water leak detection system, and they're willing to self-insure that because they feel that they've done the risk management that will help them not have that type of loss. So anyway, there's other aspects that went into that thought process, but point being is that insurance is not just selling an insurance policy. Insurance involves risk management discussions too, and to help the client protect their property and their assets.
So how important is the big I of California for your business? How important is it?
Very. I would say, I look at them from many different perspectives. The first thing that jumps out is the regulatory advocacy, being involved at Capitol Hill, knowing the Department of Insurance. We just have excellent representation in a state that definitely needs everybody involved.
Yes.
And especially right now with what's going on with the insurance marketplace. And so you've got that piece. The other piece is the resources that it provides independent agents of all sizes is huge. And the work that they do just keeps getting better and better. Even while I've been on the board now for a little over a year, just what I've seen in that period of time. And I was actually on a local board a few moons ago when I was first starting out in my career, and to see where they were then and where they are now just shows where their mission hasn't changed, but they have been nimble and have adopted new things that independent agents need, and in ways that gets the resources to them, that just continually impresses me.
Yeah, it's good. I think I said, well, join if you can, join the association. It could be there for you in maybe education, clearly another component.
Yep.
I worked in it for years, so I know it's good. Education, but the advocacy very important. So you'll be up to date. You'll know people are fighting for certain bills, certain rules, certain regulations for you. You'll be up to date. And again, the other thing is the camaraderie. I think maybe you'll agree with me. I feel like everybody, of course, is their own business, but it never feels like people are. They like the people. You could call someone up in the business and say, "I know you have a specialty in this. Can I ask you a question?" Or I never feel like people are like, "Don't talk to me. We're all competitive. That's it." Do you agree with that kind of that statement? Is that everybody's there for each other, so to speak?
Oh, I guess I definitely would think, definitely. And that's, I think, what I said early on, about the industry. And one of the first things I said was, it's the people. And that's because, you do have there's a competitive nature especially on the sales side, and your independent agent owners. But there is a collaborative and willingness to help each other out. And I think that's another testimony to the industry, to be honest.
Yes. I talked to you forever, Dina. You've been great. Thanks for your time. But I want to ask you just one last thing. What would you say to people eyeing the industry? Because we need perpetuation. We need people coming in, regeneration, whatever words you want to use. We need people to come in. So what would you say to someone who may be coming out of college and just kind of looking like, what do I want to do with my life? I don't know. What would you say to encourage them maybe to try or look into insurance business?
What I do say is, let's see, if you want to have fun, if you want to meet a lot of great people, and you want to find and land in a career that you can take for your lifetime and learn every single day and be able to develop those interests that are important to you. If you're not looking at the insurance industry, you're missing out.
I like that. Dina Campana-Smith, thank you for your time. You're
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Tell me what it can
This was wonderful. Enjoyed talking.
Oh, thank you. Tell me what it can find you if they want to find you and your business.
Oh, if you you can reach out to me. My email is Dina_Smith@ajg.com. That's DINA_Smith, SMITH @ajg.com, or my cell 415-658-1370.
And all of these episodes are on my channel, JLJ Media, on YouTube, or you can go to any streaming platform, audio, and listen to them under IIABCal Voices. That's the place. We have such great people I've talked to over the last 8-9 months, some great people. So listen to them, and this will be on there also. You can follow me where all James Lott Juniors are at James Lott Jr. everywhere. Please, everyone, please have a great week. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.